Alright, so here's what you're gonna need to know in order to fool others into thinking you've played Bayonetta. Alright, I'm gonna be real with you. A lot of people who play this game don't really care about the story. They're mainly here for the gameplay, but please humor me as I go over the important plot points so we can get on to what you're really here for. Alright, so let me give you some history. Long ago, there once lived the Umbran Witches and the Lumen Sages, one holding the right eye of light and the other holding the left eye of darkness. The clans had many rules, but the most important one was the two clans should never crossbreed, or else it would bring destruction onto the mortal realm. Well, guess who messed up? And through this, we get Cereza. Both clans get into a feud, the witches eventually win out, and the normal humans come around and wipe out what was left of the witches, only leaving two alive, Cereza and Jean. Jean put her in a deep sleep only to wake up 500 years later. Unfortunately, she wakes up with no recollection of her past, making her take up the name Bayonetta.
Oh my god, yes!
Alright, are you still with me? Because it's gonna get a lot more complicated from here on out. In the beginning, we see Bayonetta faking to be a nun in order to lure angels to her to be killed. As she gets her powers from Inferno, Bayonetta is required to make sacrifices to them. How else do you think she keeps her hair so nice and shiny?
Wish your hair were longer? Then grow it stronger. Get up to 10 times stronger hair with Garnier Fructis Grow Strong.
But Bayonetta still has no recollection of her past, save for a single gemstone on her watch, and decides to hunt down the other piece. But not before meeting a mysterious Umbran witch who seems to be working for the angels, and who looks a lot like Jean. Yeah, this story really isn't that subtle with its plot twists. You go to Europe to start your game, where you're greeted by the most disturbing voice I have ever had the pleasure of hearing.
You have arrived at last, my dear. The time has come to awaken the eyes of the world.
After a bunch of angel killing, we meet Luca, aka the Comic Relief. He believes that Bayonetta is the reason for his father's death, though it was actually the work of angels.
Who cares?
Along the way, we also meet another girl named Cereza, who also looks a lot like Bayonetta. Oh wait, that's because it is, but we'll get to that later. And through more convoluted fights like this, and through a few fights with Jean along the way, we come to the island where the eye is, and we get to fight Jean for the last and final time. Super. But after climbing to the top of the tower, we meet the owner of the gem, Baldur, the last Lumen Sage. And we also find out another few things, like Jean was under mind control, Luca's father being killed by angels, which also ends up getting Luca thrown out a window. But eventually you kill him and bring the young version of yourself back to the past. Only to find out that's exactly what he wanted. Oh, and he's not dead.
Psych!
Now that he has the powers of the eyes of the world, he's able to bring back the god Jubileus. But not all is lost, as Jean is able to free Bayonetta from her prison. And now it's time for the final showdown. And you kill her by summoning your own version of God and punching her soul into the sun. Destroy her corpse mid-orbit, and you finish off right back where you started. While this game does have a very deep backstory, a lot of people don't talk about it. Many people would rather talk about the gameplay than the actual game story. And most often than not, they'll want to talk about Bayonetta herself, as a character.
If there's two things I hate in this world, it's cockroaches and crying babies. Well, a crying baby cockroach would be truly terrible.
But I hope this was enough to get you through any conversation on the game. And as always, if you want to get a better grasp on the story, then I implore you to play the full game. That's it from me. Bye-bye.
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars.